Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Today I'm going to talk about a passion of mine, and that's guns. I'm a very strong supporter of the Second Amendment. Guns just, they have a strong influence in my life. Being out in the wilderness and really, kind of living on the farm and living kind of a ranch style life. I have guns around me all the time, and it's disturbing, that there's so much talk about, gun control and everything and that, and you try to be, you try to see things from both sides of the fence on that topic. But one thing I know is that, the gun rights are, thankfully, our forefathers had the mindset of trying to protect that right for future generations, because that was something that they had to fight for. Well, if you're anyone that's into self-reliance and survival or anything like that, you're probably aware of everything that's going on with the Second Amendment, because one of the first things I tell people whenever they ask any questions about self-reliance, I said, well, the first thing is that you need to create the ability to protect yourself. That is self-reliance. Not relying on someone to show up and protect you, but being able to protect yourself. That's self-reliance. So it's not about, hey, can I live off the land or anything like that. You really need to get the first steps in place. And those first steps are just, I need to rely on myself for protection. But also, a lot of that is hunting and things like that. And if you're into survival, that you've had to, come across that topic of, okay, how can I obtain food, but yet, we're likely going to go into a situation of where not only guns will be hard to get, but I do believe there'll be a time when ammunition is hard to get. People want to regulate guns, but the secret is you can't regulate guns. There's too many guns out on the market, but you can regulate ammunition. And I think that a lot of the people that are trying to fight for gun control, they just don't know that yet. And so you can regulate ammunition. And one thing that is, people like myself, and then, like I said, if self-reliance and bushcraft or survival, you really need to get focused in on, okay, well, I may have ammunition. Chances are it's not enough. But if I do start to use up this ammunition, how can I replenish that? And one way to doing that is by reloading. And reloading is one of those things that everybody says, well, it's not cheaper unless you shoot a lot. And I agree with that. I agree. But if you have a stockpile of ammunition, let's say you have 5,000 rounds of 308 ammo or 223 ammo. Let's say very standard ammo that you would find. You have 5,000 rounds of that. It would cost you a lot less if you had to use that ammo to just reload that ammo. Okay, so I think a lot of people don't take in consideration, well, how much ammo do I have in store? Not necessarily how much am I shooting on a yearly basis, but how much would it cost to replenish what I have? So first of all, when they start regulating the ammo, I've already seen this during the Obama administration. There was a really large ammo shortage, especially here in the South. There was this reaction where people kind of had this fear placed among them, and was that, there's this gun regulation that's going to happen. So that's just kind of that's what they were led to, that's kind of what they were led to believe. And so they reacted on that. And how they reacted was, they went out and just bought everything on the shelves of the stores. And I even had guys that I knew that were working in these stores. The ammo, after all the ammo was bought up, there were people that were literally going in and buying BB guns, pellet guns, BBs. That's how desperate they got. And one of the first things that's going to happen is, it's not a matter of if this will happen again. It's a matter of when this happens again. So when it happens again, the very first thing that's going to go off your shelves are going to be your standard handgun ammo, your standard 223, your 308 stuff, 30-06 or something like that. For several years, the only thing that I saw on the shelf was 12 gauge shotgun and bird shot. No buckshot or anything like that. 12 gauge shotgun stuff, which, I mean, people that's familiar with a 12 gauge shotgun, one thing I can tell you, for close range, like inside your home security, number 8 bird shot will work. You can defend your home with a 12 gauge and number 8 bird shot. Also, another thing, with some tactics and really some things I'd like to eventually get to videos and start showing people, is that you can take that number 8 bird shot, you can actually take that lead, melt it down, use buckshot molds, and reload that same shell, reload it and make buckshot out of it. It's the crazy thing, it's easy to do. It's not hard. If you go to the store and that's all they got is number 8 or number 9, bird shot, buy you several boxes, because that shotgun shell may be loaded with 1 1/8 ounce bird shot, but you can melt that down, use a Lee mold. You can buy a Lee buckshot mold for about $27, and you can you can cast your own buckshot and reload the same shell with 1 1/8 ounce of buckshot, and it's easy to do. And so there's a lot of things you just got to know, and so that's kind of what this video is about. You just need to know. You need to know what are your options. Well, if you're not a reloader and you start researching reloading right now, you're going to be pointed down a direction of you have to spend several $100s to start reloading. And what I'm going to tell you is that that's not true. You don't have to do that. There was a point in time that I was there. Like, I thought that that's what I had to do. And luckily I had someone that really helped me. I've been reloading shotgun shells for a long time, and then got into the rifle cartridges and stuff like that. And I don't really reload much as far as handgun, but I can tell you, for instance, this is a 4570 straight wall cartridge. It's not going to reload any different than a 357, which is a straight wall handgun cartridge. So it's very simple to do. The techniques between shotgun and rifle are very different, but between handgun and rifle are not necessarily that different. Especially the straight wall stuff. So you got some of this old school stuff, like 4570s, 444 Marlins. They're very similar to a 38 or a 357, how in the process how they reload. But one thing I want to go ahead and tell you is, don't go looking around and trying to look at buying like a Hornady kit or something like that that's several $100s. The problem that I have with the kits is that the kit will get you most of the way. It'll get you on the basic level of how to reload with a press. But what I find in those kits, the basic kits, is that it has all basic equipment, and it doesn't take long, and then you're ready to upgrade from that equipment. But that's where this comes in place. This is a Lee Classic loader. If you've never heard of it, look it up. Lee loaders have been made for a long time, and they don't really get the recognition that they deserve. Actually, years ago, Lee made them in a lot more calibers than they do today, but they still have them in all the standard calibers. I mean, pretty much anything that you would go to your local gun store, you say like your chain stores or something like that, and what you would buy, like for instance like Walmart, what you would buy on a shelf at Walmart, Lee probably makes a loader for that ammo. Now, one thing to know about about these Lee loaders is that it's caliber specific. Okay, so this one is for a 4570, and so that means, okay, that's it. I can't convert this thing to reload anything else. It's 4570. Also, this is a neck sizing only form of reloading. So typically in the reloading industry, neck sizing is considered one gun specific. So that means that, okay, this brass I shot in that particular gun When I reload it, just neck sizing it, by theory, I can only use it in that same gun again. And that's kind of a blanket statement. It's one of those things that people say that because it's, for the majority, it's accurate. But if I have another 45-70 and I check this brass and it fits in another 45-70, I can use it in that 45. It's just saying that when you shoot this, this ammo, or anytime, maybe even factory ammo, it expands to the chamber. And so when you're neck sizing, you're not resizing the whole thing. So the chamber has to be pretty much exact. It has to be the same or slightly larger. And if it's slightly larger, that means that if you shot it in something else that had a slightly larger chamber, that means when you neck size it again, you won't be able to shoot it in the original, the original gun, because the casing has now gotten bigger and bigger. But if you have 1.308 or you have 223, this is a great source. And now I haven't tried to use any of this reload for the Lee stuff. I have not tried to use in automatics. Typically in automatics they say, hey, full size, you want to resize the full case typically for automatics, and I agree with that. But for bolt actions, a lot of times this is very effective for bolt actions and single shots. I know a lot of these guns, these old crack barrels, H&R handy rifles that are no longer made and stuff. Something is really good that can be done with that. So what this does is this allows you to take factory ammunition, shoot it once, you save the casings, and then you're able to come back and reload it very simply. What I like about this kit so much, and in fact I have a kit for a 270 Winchester that I'm going to give to a friend today, and it's because the friend is, he's talking about reloading, and what it is on the conversation he's doing the same thing. Somebody's telling him, yeah, you need to go spend hundreds of dollars. I'm like, no, that's not what you really need to do. You need to start reloading. That's what you need to do. You buy a kit. This kit runs for, I see them anywhere from $33 to $35. And hey, go on eBay. Go buy these kits off of eBay. You can buy them shipped to your house for like $34. That's shipping included now. That's what I recommend, is just start reloading. Don't look at a kit that costs $400 or $500, because that means that chances are it's going to be even longer before you really make that purchase. But if I just, by saying, hey, for $35 you can start reloading today and start practicing and really getting used to the technique and what are all the things that's involved with reloading, and it's this kit. Actually, it shows you that it's pretty simple. And so I think that's more important, is learn just how simple it is, and then instead of going and buying necessarily a kit that has everything, buy what you really wanted in the first place. A lot of people, they reload for economic reasons. They're like, well, I like to cut my shooting costs, and I agree with that. There's some people that reload, they want to try to create accuracy. They're reloading for a specific rifle, and they're trying to make it as accurate as possible. I agree with that too. And there's different. That's the thing, when you talk to people about reloading, know what their objective is. So what is your objective? You're trying to just do it as cheaply as possible, or you're shooting kind of close range. A lot of these cowboy shooters and stuff like that, you shoot a lot, but they're not shooting any more than, say, 50 feet. But that's why you need to kind of ask those questions. But this is, I consider as like, hey, this is the entry level for anybody for just a few dollars. You start reloading for your favorite rifle, and you start learning about just reloading. And then from there, you go in the direction of, I want to be able to load more rounds per hour, or maybe I want to be able to create a a more accurate round or things like that. I mean, there's definitely, using reloading with a press, it certainly has advantages over this. The thing about a press is that you can change out the dies, and it becomes multi-caliber. Now the dies that you're using are not necessarily multi-caliber, but what I find is the dies for a press are going to cost you just as much as this, and a lot, depending on the brand, some of them twice as much. I mean, some of them are a lot more than what this kit costs. So you're going to wind up buying dies anyway. You might as well just invest in something like this and go ahead and start getting familiar with the process. Now, if I have time today, I'd like to go ahead and show you just how simple it is.